Good. How are you first? Good evening. I hope you're all okay. Everything is good. If anyone is taking October, November, خلاص few days and we're going to start paper 1C inshallah next week. All the best يا رب لكل الناس اللي October, November. If anyone need any help, any topic, if anyone is joining for October, November and you need any help, just tell me please. Okay, let's start. So today we are going to have a new journey with the periodic table. I told you I was preparing to make the formulas, but unfortunately, some students, they were telling me to wait because they want me to to say in the post or in a video إن احنا we're going to do this topic اللي هو الformulas إن شاء الله what we are going to do next Friday لأنه في many students they are having October, November for other subjects so they are not going to join today. That's why I said it's fine. We're going to do it inshallah next week. It's better كمان to take the topic of the periodic table لأنه again it is related. يعني ال periodic table is related برضه للformulas. It's going to help us when we are going to talk about the formulas inshallah next week. So next week بإذن الله at the same timing we're going to have the class related to الbalance والformulas which is I think in one of the most important topics in chemistry in general. Okay, for the basis of chemistry, whatever بقى IG, American, national, whatever what you are studying يعني بس it's going to be it's going to help a lot إن شاء الله what we are going to take next Friday. I'm going to make a video. I'm going to say this is what I'm going to say specifically what we are going to study إن شاء الله especially for this topic لأنه it's a very important one. Condensation equal to the boiling point. I didn't get your question يا جوجو.
مس دلوقتي عارفة في الكولينج كيرف بيبقى فيه point where it changes from gas to liquid. Do we
Okay.
call it condensation or
Yes, this
boiling?
is condensation. Yes, that's true.
But in real life, condensation takes place over a range of temperatures. So how is it horizontal?
They never asked you what is this, what's the name for this point. Usually he asks you when it's talking about في الهيتنج curve مش في cooling curve. Usually they ask you في heating, not the cooling. No, let's start. By the way, I posted on all the groups the record for last week اللي هو it was the past papers for bonding. I posted كمان the PDF for the topic that we are going to do today. If you are not on chemistry lovers, if you join chemistry lovers اللي هي groups these days, يمكن 2 weeks ago I uploaded the PDF for all the bonding. يعني you're going to have all the bonding. It's there on Google Classroom. On the WhatsApp. You're going to find all the you will find the records on YouTube. I put for you the link before I started the class. I put also the PDF for this topic. Okay, يلا, let's start. Today we're going to talk about the periodic table. We're going to talk about everything related to the periodic table, the note of the bonding. Okay, Maluka. Just after the class, send me on which group. I don't know you are in which group. لأن هما في 4 groups for chemistry lovers. Just send me بس on the group. Please يا miss send the bonding I will send it on the group again. Okay? For anyone who was not there on the groups. يلا بينا. So if I'm going to talk about the periodic table is what? Periodic table, it's a topic that is talking about the trends of the metals with non-metals. It's talking about the reactions of the metals and the non-metals. It's talking about the properties, the physical properties with chemical properties of some of the metals with non-metals. This is a very, let's say it's a very important base in general للchemistry في ال O level. Okay? You're most welcome يا ملوك. يلا بينا. if I'm going to start my first part بالperiodic table. The first part, how many groups are there? How many periods are there? If you check here, you're going to find this is group 1, this is group 2, this is group 3, group 4, group 5, group 6, group 7, and then group 8. This means how many groups do I have in the periodic table? I have 8 groups in the periodic table. This is number 1. I have group 1, group 2, group 3, as I told you, till group 8. But what about this area? These are called transition metals. So their groups, we don't count them in the main groups. يبقى this means again when I ask you how many groups do I have in the periodic table, I have 8 groups in the periodic table. طيب how many periods do I have؟ البيريد اللي هي from left to right. يعني how many periods from left to right do I have? Let's count. From left to right. So hydrogen and helium, this is period 1. From lithium, this is period 2. From sodium, period 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. يبقى this means how many periods from left to right? I'm having 7 periods from left to right. طيب, he will ask you, what about these? Are these 2 more periods? No, we said before, in all these elements are the elements here. You see here, يعني this is 56, 57, and then 72. يبقى all these elements are the elements supposed to be in this area. وhere, this is 90 and 103, all these elements supposed to be here. طب why did they put them down? They put them down so the periodic table look better. That's it. That's it. So that's why they put it down. يبقى this means I'm having 7 periods or I'm having 8 groups. Please, please. I told you 100 times, الهيدروجين والهيليum is period 1. Please don't go and say hydrogen وhelium. A lot of students, they don't count them. فتake care in الهيدروجين والهيليum, this one. الهيدروجين والهيليum is counted as a period. This is period 1. تمام؟ this is really important. طيب, let's continue. How many, if I'm talking about the groups, what are the names for the groups? Group 1, I'm going to call them alkali metals. Group 2, I'm going to call them alkaline earth metals. يبقى group 1, we call them alkali metals, and we will know why. So this is alkali metal. Group 2, اللي هو this group is called alkali earth metals or alkaline earth metals. Group 7, we are going to call them halogens. يبقى group 7 we are going to call them halogens, and then the last group we are going to call it noble gases. So طبعا metals in the middle دول we call them transition metals. يبقى once again, group 1 I'm going to call it alkali metals, group 2 alkaline earth metals, group 7 I'm going to call them halogens, and then the last group I'm going to call them noble gases, and then the metals here we call them transition metals. طبعا the ones down هنا lanthanides actinides, this is not important. Miss, can you increase the thickness of the pen so we can see anything? It's the first time ياسين someone to ask me this. طيب بصي ياسينو, هو انا already I have the iPad with the pen بتاع iPad it's better, but you told me when I worked with it, يعني أنا normally في tuitions I work with the iPad. But you told me, يعني some of the students here, they said إنه it's better, يعني they feel here is better. I don't know, يعني I will try, I don't know, I can maybe.
Miss, هما التو periods اللي تحت دول
بس
are they
بصي
in
كده is
transition
better.
between؟
كده is better ياسين سينو كده is better.
Yes.
وانا ما يجوش معناه يا ياسين. طيب دول مش 2 periods يا جوجو. These are not 2 periods. These are not 2 periods. I told you they just took them from up to down just to keep the group, the periodic table organized. لكن هم 7 periods بس. Miss, what's the difference between alkali metal? بصي يا ايدو, alkali metals هم الميتالز. Why do we call them أصلا alkali? لأنه once I will put them in water, they are going to form alkali. This is the reason. يعني they are going to form something that ends with OH, like NaOH, KOH, and so on. طيب, why the first group we call them alkali metal, with second we call them alkaline earth metals? This is because group 1 we call them alkali metals لأن هم once we put them in water they give alkali. Group 2 برضو once we put them in water they give alkali, بس هم they are found on earth, the earth itself. That's why we call them alkaline earth. طب why do I call group 7 halogens? Halogens scientifically in science, halogen it means forming salt. وsince ان هم all of them are non-metals, فonce ان انا I'm going to put them with the metal they will form a salt. For the word halogens it means forming a salt. طبعا noble gases, all of you know noble gases. Why do we call noble gases noble gases? Because they are noble. They are noble, they don't want to react. They are noble كده, عارفين, معززين كده, مكرمين. Noble, they don't want to react. They are already having a full outer shell. They don't lose, they don't gain, they don't share. this is a question for in the past paper, especially for Edexcel. Why these مثلا why argon doesn't react, why helium doesn't react? I'm going to say because it has a full outer shell, كده 1 mark, so they don't lose, they don't gain, they don't share any electrons. تمام؟ طيب let's continue بقى. Are they transition metals? No, they're not. Transition metals اللي هم these اللي in the middle دول. Transition metals دي هي البوينت ان هم metals بس عندهم some properties like normal metals و some properties specific ليهم. Only for transition metals. That's why they put them alone. You got the point? This is the idea of the transition metal. You most welcome يا إيدو. يلا بينا. Let's start talking about group 1. Let's start our journey. So the first part, we're going to talk about group 1. As we said here, يا ريماس, we said إنه group 1, group 2, group 3. Since all the elements are in the same group يا علي, يبقى this means إيه يا علولي؟ إن all of them, they must have the same number of electrons in the outer shell. Take care من التريك دي. يعني مثلا let's say, so lithium is 3 يعني 2 1. صح؟ طب potassium is مثلا 19 يعني 2 8 8 1. You see? طب sodium is 11 يعني 2 8 1. It's wrong. So all the time يعني if I'm having
مس البورد زعلت مننا عشان غيرنا غيرنا التكنس.
ما انا I feel ان الثيكنس برضو for me it's not طب wait I will try. هي البروبلم ان يا كده يا كده. طيب I will try to make it less. اهو lithium 3 وانا مش عارفه بقى ارضيته ازاي. اهو 2 and then 1. اوكي وبعدين I'm having sodium 2 8 1. اوكي and then I'm having potassium 2 8 8 1. يبقى all of them they have how many electrons في الأوتر shell? 1 1 1. يبقى since it is in group 1 يبقى first one is 2 1. Then second element 2 8 1. Then the third one 2 8 8 1. يبقى all the time when I'm going from up to down and all of them they have the same number of electrons in the outer shell. يعني all of them they are having how many electrons يا جوجو? All of them they have 1 electrons في الأوتر shell. That's why لأنه the question في past papers he will ask you why do elements in the same group they have the same chemical properties. I'm going to say because they have the same number of electrons in the outer shell أو because they have the same electronic configuration. طيب let's continue. I'm going now بقى to talk about group 1 as I told you. So if I'm going to talk طبعا all this area metals و all this area اللي هي after the ladder يعني all this area is going to be the metals. Okay و all this one is going to be the non-metals. يبقى دول metals and these are non-metals. طيب and as I told you why they have the same chemical properties because they have the same number of electrons in the outer shell. طيب let's talk about group 1 metals. Group 1 metals they are what? Group 1 metals they are what? أهو lithium, sodium, potassium, rubidium, cesium, francium. All these metals they are having properties that a little bit different. They are having what? Number one, they are soft. يعني the majority of the metals in the periodic table they are hard. Like these metals are soft. They are not hard like the others. They are soft. They have low melting or boiling point. The first three of them اللي هم lithium sodium potassium they float on water which is not logic يعني which is not normal. It's not common. يعني usually metals at the top usually metals دايما they sink. لكن for group 1 اللي هم lithium sodium potassium they float on water. أهو lithium sodium potassium all of them they as I told you they float on water. Okay, but they're soft. They can be easily cut with a knife, and also they react with water. طب if I put lithium with water, it's going to give you what? Lithium hydroxide and hydrogen. يبقى if I'm going to put lithium with water, this is a very common question Edexcel and Cambridge. Once you put lithium with water, it's going to give you lithium hydroxide or hydrogen. sodium with water, sodium hydroxide with hydrogen, potassium with water, potassium hydroxide with hydrogen. يبقى all of them they react and they will give hydrogen. طيب he will ask you what are the physical properties. Take care بقى, what are the physical properties. I'm going to say they are soft. Don't go and say بقى they can be cut with a knife. هما yes they can be cut with a knife, but this is not a physical, يعني it's not a property. يعني ال property إن أقول إن هما they have low melting or boiling point, إن أنا أقول they are soft. All this are they have low density. All these are physical properties. طيب as I told you the first three they float on water. طيب في point بقى, الميتالز دول بتوع جروب 1 are they reactive ولا less reactive؟ لا they are reactive. يعني جروب 1 mainly they are very reactive. Okay, as I go from up to down you're going to find that the reactivity is going to increase. Reactivity is going to increase as I go from up to down. يعني مثلا let's say I'm having here lithium, I'm having here lithium, I'm having sodium, I'm having potassium. Till down, I'm having cesium. As I go from up to down, you're going to find the cesium or francium down. They are very reactive. I will show you now a reaction with them with water. If any student here with me in the school, this week I showed you a piece of sodium. I put it in water. I don't know, do you remember or not? And I showed you what will happen. Once you put it in water, it's going to react and it's going to give hydroxide, or hydrogen gas is going to be produced. I will show you now this on the YouTube for the ones who are not with me and in the school and you didn't see it. I will show you now. Type. One more point, I want to say it before we move to the video. All the group 1 metals, since they are very reactive, I cannot just leave them. I cannot just leave them in air. I need to put what? I need to put them under oil. Yani all the time, if you are having anyone in group 1, you need to keep them under oil. Okay? Why you need to keep them under oil? All the time, if this is the metal, you need to put oil above it. Why you should keep it under oil? So that the water, so that the air from the air, يعني, it's not going to react with the metal. يعني I want to prevent a reaction of the metal with the air from the atmosphere. Okay, so if he asks you why should I keep it under oil, I'm going to say to prevent the reaction of the metal with the air. Okay, طيب I will show you now. I will show you the reaction now. Did the first three float? لا, yes, the first three float. all of them they were react as usual, but the first three they float. Yes, we did it in school yesterday. Really, يا فري? That's good.
احنا حطينا صوديوم وبوتاسيوم والحاجات
الله, الحاجات الياكي دي.
مرة عملناها والبيكر اتفرقع.
مين اللي فرقع؟
البيكر يا مس.
البيكر فرقع؟ او ماي جاد يا ربي. ما هو عشان كده بصي بفتح الجيميل عادي جدا بروبلم يعني. I used to work in a school before. كانت دايما once we will do this experiment كانوا دايما الفلور سوبرفايزر يقولوا لي miss when you are going to do the explosion. كانوا مسمينه الاكسبلوجن.
وخاصة ان احنا حطينا لمبس كبيرة مش حاجة صغيرة وبيكر صغيرة.
بصي احنا المفروض normally when we do this reaction we're not supposed to put the big lumps. We need to put small pieces عشان already هي very reactive. وعادي جدا انها it may break the beaker طبعا.
احنا مرة حتى عملنا رياكشن تاني، سخنا البيكر على اللي هو الكترونيك هيتر، فكانت في واحدة صاحبتي قدام بتبص على البيكر، فانا كنت حاسه ان البيكر هيفرقع عشان شفت فيه كراك، فايه بقى سيبي بقى تفرقع، وكان هيجي في وشها بس جرتها، يعني سبت وش انا وجرتها هي اللي هو مش منطقي اصلا.
You can see the YouTube. الحمد لله ان ربنا ستر. You can see the YouTube. Can you see it ولا شايفه؟
لا احنا مش شايفين.
لا
مش شايفين.
بس انا قبل كده كنت في اللاب وكسرت تيست تيوبس كتير قوي بكوعي، يعني زقتهم بكوعي.
يا ساتر.
واحنا كمان في المدرسه عملنا كده.
الحمد لله ان انتوا مش عندنا في المدرسه.
كان في نار برضه، بس نار يعني
هتبقى خسائر كتير. الحمد لله. يلا بينا. اهو I'm going to share it again. بصوا كده.
تمام يا مس.
Yes, we can see it now.
You can.
Yes.
One of the students is
9, 8. Please go to counter 6.
هو ايه الفويس؟
1 2 9 8.
لا لا لا. 1 2 و9 ايه؟ يلا بصوا. This is talking about the reaction of the metals now. Lithium, sodium, potassium.
So reactive, they have to be stored under
You
oil.
see, they are stored under oil. If you are with me in the school, I showed you how it's stored under oil.
Lithium is so soft. See how shiny the freshly cut surface is.
You see?
But leave it
Shiny
exposed to
when
the
it
air
is
for a
freshly
few
cut.
seconds, and it quickly begins to tarnish.
Miss, can you like mute the sound because it's creating an echo with your sound?
I remove the sound يعني.
Just mute it.
If I mute, you will hear? Okay. حاضر. طب أنا I don't know what they're saying.
ولا أنا.
How do I know what they're saying?
نقرا الكابشنز وخلاص.
طب خلاص I will make it بس I will not make it loud.
بس يمكن to mute the mute.
Floats.
Also, this when he put the sodium in the water, you see what happens once he puts sodium in water? It floats.
Gas is being
It
produced.
floats on the water as you see here. Okay?
But at the same
Why
time
there is
it
bubbles?
reacts.
Amount into a boiling tube.
Why there is
بتعمل
Because of the hydrogen is
بتعمل
reduced.
رياكشن في هيدروجين وكده.
correct?
Treats its hydrogen.
طب now she's going to put what? She's going to put now something called universal indicator. Do any of you know what's the universal indicator? Universal indicator is going to show you in what
مس ممكن تقول ممكن تقول الاكسبلانيشن بتاع هي ليه بتعمل رياكت باي ووتر تاني؟
Sure. Again, once I'm going to put any piece of metal من group 1, sodium, potassium, sodium, potassium, lithium, cesium, any of them, once you put them in water, what will happen? It's going to give you hydroxide or hydrogen. Okay? طيب, الهيدروكسيد دي alkali, so it's supposed to give you what since it's alkali? تديني مثلا لو lithium, it's going to give you lithium hydroxide. If it is sodium, so it's going to give you sodium hydroxide and so on. But what is the gas that will form كمان? The gas that will form with it is a hydrogen. Exactly. That's why you will, correct. That's why we will find hydrogen. That's why we will find bubbles of colorless gas. This is the hydrogen. فهنا they will test for both. They will test إنه في alkali was formed like lithium hydroxide, sodium hydroxide, and so on. He will put now universal indicator. You will find that the color will change to blue. يبقى this means إنه there is alkali formed. والpoint التانية إن they will put lighted splint. If they put lighted splint, it's going to make squeaky pop squeaky pop sound. Let's see.
Indicator shows that at the
You
end
see? It's going to change into blue. يبقى this means alkali is formed.
بس هو الكلاي والهيدروجين بيتعاملوا في كل الميتالز اللي في جروب 1 صح؟
Correct. All of them. Even by the way, the same balance. يعني if I'm talking about sodium, potassium, cesium, all same balance. You'll just change the element. Now you see, now she put lighted splint. طلعت squeaky pop sound. This is sodium. You see the reaction of the sodium is more reactive. That's why it decreases in size really quick. It floats on water. Bubbles of colorless gas. They will come and ask you about the observation. Take care. This is very important. Again, it makes squeaky pop sound. Again, she will put universal indicator will change to blue. Am I right? Okay. طيب, let's see potassium.
it's below the
What do you expect? Potassium is going to be more reactive or less reactive?
more
more
reactive.
reactive activity
More
increases.
reactive.
في hearts في الاريا. You're the best.
هتبقى more reactive يا مس، هتعمل explosions وبابلز أكتر، ممكن تبقى flammable
No,
شوية.
Explosions.
You are
بتموت
the best.
explosions.
potassium.
It will produce flames.
flames يا مس ممكن flammable.
Correct. لا مش flammable. لا هي هتعمل مش قصدي بصي هتعمل lilac flame.
It does spark.
Yes, it will spark. That's true. You see?
يعني هي مش flammable،
No, no,
هي
no.
بس هتعمل spot.
Yes. لأنه في question special في Edexcel دايما بيجي يقول لك what will happen, what's the difference if you put lithium in water or if you put potassium in water. Lithium in water, both of them they will float. Both of them they will هيبقى في bubbles of colorless gas. بس البوتاسيوم reaction is going to be more violent يعني very strong أو vigorous، وكمان it's going to make lilac flame. إيه اللايلاك فليم دي؟ اللي هو البيربل lilac اللي هو light purple كده. lilac flame دي is going to form only with potassium. ليه؟ لأنه أو اللي هي السبارك دي. ليه؟ لأنه البوتاسيوم is more reactive. Okay؟ برضه she's going to put
Miss,
yes.
why can't we say it produces flames? Why do we have to say
You
sparks?
need to say the color لأنه المارك scheme is going to show you the color. You need to. لأنها ليها color. عارف لو ملهاش specific color I will not say، بس هنا ليها specific color. بصوا it's going to give potassium hydroxide and hydrogen. طيب تعالوا ناخد
Miss هو is it only potassium that gives lilac flame؟
yes that's true. طيب I want to show you a video if I'm going to put بقى cesium أو rubidium is it going to be more reactive ولا less؟
more very more explosive كمان ممكن يفرقع.
Please can you tell them can you please tell can you please someone is asking can you please keep the questions at the end because they are going to get confused. Please keep the questions at the end. حلو كده؟ حاضر. Yes, that's true يا محمد. It's very reactive. I'm so sorry يا ملوكة for the inconvenience. So again I'm going to put I will show you now
So what's going to happen when you drop that in the water? Well, imagine if you
what will happen بقى. They will put it in water. Let's see what will happen. The reaction is really strong. So he will run away.
Okay, Tickle. Drop the rubidium in the water.
This is rubidium at the end of the series.
The rubidium will only react when our specially designed vial dissolves in the water, which gives John a few crucial seconds to get into our safety zone.
You see? Very reactive.
يما
Very reactive. But let's see cesium.
Of alkali metals, the bathtub. Fair enough, mate. I'll leave you to it.
This is cesium.
Okay, John, go for it. Cesium sinks in the water. The rapid generation of hydrogen gas should produce quite an explosion.
بس the hydrogen is a fuel. But it's you see very strong.
صعب أوي الموضوع ده.
It's really strong. يعني really vigorous يعني. So as I told you يبقى what's happening all.
البتاع اتكسر.
Yes.
And I think that concludes
I
today's
cannot
experiment.
close
There was
them.
Miss, why is it like so strong?
But for some reason they wouldn't.
Why did?
Why is it so strong?
هو reactivity increase as you go from up to down. That's why. يلا, let's continue. So if you check here, what's happening بقى from up to down? You're going to find إنه from up to down the reactivity increases, but the melting point or boiling point decreases. As I told you all the time, they are going to give alkali and they are going to give hydrogen. طيب, what about the density? As I go from up to down, the density is going to increase. The density is the only property all the time. As I go from up to down, the density increase. You are in group 1, you are in group 2, you are in noble gases, whatever the group is, as you go from up to down, the density increase. طيب, let's talk about group 7 بقى. Group 7 is going to be the opposite to group 1. Group 7, they are called, as I said, halogens, fluorine, chlorine, bromine, iodine. طب, what do I need to know about them? Number 1, you need to know إنه الفلورين والكلورين. You need to know إنه الفلورين is a gas, الكلورين is a gas, البرومين is a liquid, and then the iodine والأستاتين, they are solids. Nowadays, if you are Cambridge students, you need to know إنه they added one more element last year after the أستاتين. وبرضه again it's solid. but for Edexcel they didn't. So all of them, as I said at the beginning, at the top, these are gases, then we have liquid, and then at the end, we have solids. So what's happening now? As I go from up to down, you're going to find in the melting point or boiling point, it is increasing. As I go from up to down, the melting point or boiling point, it's increasing, and the density is going to the density again is going to increase. لأنه I told you the density all the time it's going to increase down the group. طب what about the reactivity بقى? Is it same like group 1? لا احنا قلنا ان reactivity as I go from up to down in group 1 قلنا ان reactivity increases. Do you know why reactivity increases? لأنه if I'm having lithium, I'm having sodium. Please يا جماعة, we will keep the questions at the end. Lithium, sodium, potassium. So lithium is 2 and 1, and then the sodium is 281, and then the potassium is 2881. So all the time, since we're going from up to down, it's easier to lose the electron. أكيد when I go from up to down, the size of the atom is becoming bigger. So it's easier to lose the electron other than the ones at the top. يعني the one at the top, one electron that is very close to the nucleus. So it's attracted to the nucleus. It's very hard to lose it. Like in here in the potassium, or cesium, or francium, if this is the nucleus, so you can lose the electron really easily. And here it's away from the nucleus. So you can lose it really easy. If he asks you, especially Edexcel, they always ask this question. Why, when you go from up to down, the reactivity is going to be more? Because the size is bigger, so the attraction force as you go from up to down between the nucleus والelectron اللي في outer shell is going to be weaker. That's why it's easy to lose the electron. طب why it's different for group 7? لأنه in group 7 I'm not going to lose electrons. In group 7 they are non-metals, so I'm going to gain electron. As I go from up to down, it's going to be the opposite. يعني it's not, يعني as I go from up to down, the ones at the top, they are going to gain electrons easier. Like in the one down, it's harder for them to gain the electrons. طيب, what else I need to know about group 7? You need to know in the fluorine, the color of the fluorine is yellow, the chlorine is green, the bromine is brown or reddish brown, the iodine is brown or gray, والastatine, it is black. يعني this means إنه as I go from up to down, you need to know, you're going to find all this in the PDF I send on the groups. All the time as I go from up to down, you need to know in the colors are becoming darker. طيب, the most important part for group 7 and you need to know إن they are all toxic or poisonous. يعني I cannot use them كده. If I'm doing any experiment with group 7, you don't just do it in the lab. You need to use a fume cupboard. Why fume cupboard? لأنه they are toxic. Fume cupboard, it's a place, I said, I talked about the fume cupboard before. It's a place that remove all the toxic gases outside. It's something, it's an يعني like a device كده in the lab. It's a corner كده in the lab that it's going to take or it's going to remove all the toxic the gases outside the lab. طيب, what else you need to know about them? You need to know in the group 7 are always diatomic. يعني they never like to be alone. They are diatomic. يعني all the time you're going to find F2, Cl2, Br2, I2. يعني all the time they don't like to be alone. They like to be always in couples. دايما بيبقوا عاملين covalent bond together. That's why they like to be always together يعني. طيب, the most important part every year it is in the exam for Cambridge and especially Edexcel, the ones are the reactions of group 7 اللي هي if I'm having مثلا, let's say we said fluorine, chlorine, bromine, iodine. Since إن إحنا we said إنه fluorine is the most reactive non-metal. بصوا إحنا الميتالز the most reactive metal هيبقى down هنا, لكن non-metal في the most reactive non-metal is going to be at the top. يعني they are opposite to each other. if I'm having مثلا, let's say bromine, يعني I'm having, let's say KBr, and then I'm going to add Cl to it. يعني I'm going to add Cl2 to the KBr. what will happen? The chlorine is more reactive than the bromine, so it's going to kick the bromine out. هتقول البرومين يلا 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 outside. You're not you're less reactive. يلا go outside. And it go X برا يلا outside. And it's going to jump in its place. But it's not going to be KBr. No, it's going to be KCl. والبرومين is going to be bromine 2. يعني البرومين خلاص is going to be alone outside. Okay, طبعا I will need to balance for sure. This is very important, very important. So I'm going to put it like this. This is 2 and this is 2. Okay, for balance. لأن هنا there are 2 bromines. فimpossible تكون 2 bromines في product except if it is 2 bromines at the beginning. وهير برضو impossible يكونوا 2 chlorines except إن هما 2 chlorines here. طيب, they will ask you what is the color change? يعني the color was what and it will become what? طبعا كل students حبايبي they will say يا miss from green to brown. 0. لأنه it's not from green. All of you need to say from colorless and then you say to brown or orange brown. You need to start بالcolorless. All group 7. This is called displacement reaction. لأنه more reactive non-metal is displacing a less reactive non-metal. So that's why we call it displacement reaction. ففي displacement reaction of group 7 you need to say or you need to start لأنه they will ask you about the colors. You need to start بالcolorless, then it will change to brown. أو بقى whatever, if it is here, whatever who is here, you can say it's color, no problem. لكن لازم start, you need to start بالcolorless. This is very important. Why it is colorless? لأنه it is aqueous solution. يعني it is a solution. If they ask you about the state symbol, you will write aqueous. لأن احنا عارفين ال state symbol بيبقى فيه solid liquid وgas aqueous. If they ask you about the state symbols, you need to say no, it's aqueous.
مس
Yes.
هو aqueous لأني واحدة فيهم يعني كلورين ولا الاتنين؟
All.
all؟
Yes.
هو حضرتك طلبتي مني أبقى unmute because زوم بعت لي رسالة أنت عايزاني أبقى unmute.
Me?
الزوم بعت لي مسج إن أنت عايزة الhost wants you to be unmuted.
I don't know. I didn't say anything. I don't know. طيب, what about كده فاضل لنا 2 groups بس في periodic table. I'm going to say them. Noble gases و transition metals. These are the easiest. Noble gases, as I said, they have a full outer shell. They don't lose, they don't gain, they don't share, they don't do anything. But so we need to know إنه as I go برضو from up to down, برضو density will increase والmelting point والboiling point برضو will increase. يعني same like group 7 since إن هما they are near each others. بس البوينت بقى إنه group 7 إنه group 8 دول they don't react. فما لهمش بقى I'm not going to say بقى reactivity increase or decrease. No, they don't react. طيب, they will come and ask you in the exam, what are the uses for helium? What are the uses for hydrogen? What are the sorry, for helium or for neon or for argon? For helium, I'm going to say in it's used in what? It's used في air balloon, في air ships وفي balloons. Why? لأنه الهيليوم is having low density. This is number 1. ونمبر 2 لأنه هو does react. It's inert. يعني مثلا هيجي مرة في question جاب لهم في Edexcel قال لهم طب ما هو الهيدروجين is برضه less dense than air. طب ما أنا I can use hydrogen وخلاص. لا, I cannot use hydrogen. هو less dense than air بس it's not inert. ده flammable. ده fuel. أكيد I'm not going to put it في البالونز. أكيد for sure. That's why we use helium and we don't use hydrogen. طيب, he will come and ask you, طب what do we use argon in? We use argon في light bulbs. هنا هو. We use the argon here in the light bulbs. You see here, this is the argon. يعني if this is the bulb, you're going to find argon surrounding the filament. البارت دي اسمها filament. اللي هي البارت اللي في البulb دي اسمها filament. So surrounding the filament, you're going to find argon. Why I didn't put مثلا oxygen? طب ما oxygen it will work. No. لأنه oxygen help in burning. So it will make this filament burn. I don't want this. But that's why I use argon. if he asked you why argon, I'm going to say because argon is inert gas, يعني it doesn't react. وأنا أصلا I need inside the lab inert atmosphere، يعني atmosphere أو a gas that doesn't react. طيب what about the last one for this اللي هي النيون. What do we use the neon gas in? all the ads بقى when we are moving كده on the street هارديز وماك وأرابياتا ولا whatever الستورز you're going to find إنه if you removed الاد الcolors دي أو البوسترز دي you're going to find inside lamps neon كده lamps big lamps all of them they are filled with neon gas. طب why especially neon? Why we use النيون في الادز أو في اللامبس of the ads؟ لأن هم دايما بيكون ليهم colors و at the same time النيون يعني دايما they use اللامبس to be colored كده والنيون النيون that is found inside the lamp once it's connected to electricity it's going to light. يبقى once إن أنا I'm having a neon in any lamp once you will connect it to electricity it's going to light. That's the main target. Why do we use the neon in the lamps here inside for the ads يعني. طيب our last group is the transition metals اللي هم in the middle of the periodic table. transition metals دول ليهم some properties same like the normal metals إن هم عندهم high density وإن هم they have high melting point. يبقى هم they have high density و high melting point. These two properties same like the normal metals. وعندهم other properties that's totally different than the normal metals. What are these properties? Number one, they are used as catalysts. يعني all that or the majority of the transition metals they are used as catalysts like copper وzinc ونيون ونيكل وiron. if you want a catalyst for sure it's going to be a catalyst it's going to be a transition metal. طب ايه هم الكاتاليستس؟ الكاتاليست هي substance that increase الايه يا فاري؟ the rate of the reaction without being used up. if I want or if I decided to make the reaction faster أكيد for sure you're going to add a catalyst. طب number two, they always form colored compounds. يبقى they always form colored ايه؟ compounds. يعني if I want to form مثلا يعني if you are having something that is blue أو green it's colored يعني it's a colored salt أكيد for sure you're going to find that it was a transition metal. طيب number three إنها it is having more than one oxidation state. يعني it's not having one oxidation state, no, more than one oxidation state. Like what? Like the copper مثلا. Sometimes it's copper positive 1, sometimes it's copper positive 2. Sometimes it's iron positive 2, sometimes it's iron positive 3. يعني it has more than one oxidation state. You're not going to find any metal in the periodic table like in group 1, in group 2, in group 3 that has more than one oxidation state except the transition metals. يبقى if he asked you transition metals ايه properties transition metals that are same like the normal metals ان هم they have high density و high melting point. طب what are the properties that are different for transition metals but specific only for transition metal? You will say in هم they form colored compounds, they are used as catalysts, they have more than one oxidation state. What do you think? Easy?
Miss
أنا كده I'm done about the periodic table. If عشان بس الناس I know some students they don't want to keep there in the meeting. I'm done يعني. But if you have any question بقى you can ask. Okay? Yes.
مس هو دلوقتي حضرتك قلتي ان اللامس بنحط فيها ارجون. هو احنا بنحط ارجون عشان بيعمل conducting
لا.
electricity؟
احنا we put argon لانه الارجون is inert atmosphere. انا عايزه atmosphere doesn't react خالص مع الفيلمنت. مش عايزه حاجه بتhelp in burning خالص يا جوجو. فالارجون is an inert atmosphere في اللامب. inert يعني doesn't react.
والنيون؟
لا النيون بنحطه مش عشان كده. النيون بنحطه عشان once it's connected to electricity it's going to light up في اللايت.
يعني ما بتعملش كونتاكت بس بتعمل
لا
لايت
هو طبعا
ثيرابي.
بيعمل، بس مش دي البوينت. هي البوينت ان هو لا طبعا لازم يعمل كوندكت، بس I mean ان هو it will light دي property specific للنيون يعني.
مش طب هو ال one more than one oxidation state بيعتمد على ال number of electrons صح؟
Yes yes that's true.
مم.
يس يا علي. الأول جانا خالد. يس يا جوجو.
بس معلش، هو لما بيبقى فيه more than يعني قصدي ما بيبقى فيه more than one oxidation state، هل هو بيدبند on الكومباوند اللي هو فيه؟
exactly true.
اوكي. هو
يعني
برضه في سؤال.
sometimes I write copper dioxide، يبقى this means ان الكوبر هنا كان بالفالنسي بتاعته 2. sometimes I will write 1 يبقى الفالنسي كانت 1.
تمام اوكي. وبرده في اللي هو الكالر كومباوندز اونلي الترانزيشن ميثودز بس هي اللي عندها كالر كومباوندز، يعني ما فيش ولا اي ميثود تاني بره بيعمل كالر كومباوند غير الترانزيشن ميثود بس؟
لا all the elements that form colored compounds are transition metal.
بس.
Yes.
تمام اوكي. ثانك يو.
You're most welcome. Someone was asking me about في الشات about the element extra ده for only Mohamed, this is only for the Cambridge TS. This is you can text me, I will send it to you. This is the new one. The old one was not there. It was يعني كان the end كان only استاتين. Yes يا علي.
Oh, okay, miss. Thank you.
You're most welcome. يا علي.
بس أنا باخد كامبريدج فأنا لازم أعرف الألمنت دي.
Yep. هتلاقيها في البريدكت تيبل. You don't need to
جبال صح قلنا إنه
you are going to find it in the periodic table في new exams it's there. Don't worry, you don't need to know it. Just بس يعني when you use the periodic table use the newest, don't use the old one. That's it.
ماشي. أوكي.
Yes يا علي. أو send me I will send it to you better.
ماشي حاضر.
Miss how
جبال
to
قلنا
get
إنه
the classified. Miss I asked you on WhatsApp. والله يا ملك أنا since last class I'm having more than 30 students they ask me about it. On them. It's you يا ملوكة تقريبا. you texted me كمان today بس I was having a class والله in the morning at afternoon صح. I think it was you لأنه كان في students كتير. حاضر I will tell you how to get it. حاضر. I don't know يعني انتوا في دبي you don't have classified. Teachers in Dubai they don't do classified. Impossible. أكيد for sure they have. For sure يعني. In Saudi Arabia طب بلاش ملوكة. in Saudi Arabia they don't have. Saudi Arabia is really big يعني impossible. يعني الناس اللي كانوا معايا بصراحة last years في سعودي أرابيا I used to give it to them بس يعني أنا بس I'm wondering why. وشهد في دبي I'm بس I'm wondering يعني there is no يعني إحنا مثلا in Kuwait في كذا teacher مش it's not only me يعني. فاهمة
مس
قصدي؟ Okay no problem. حاضر text me I will tell you how you can get it. حاضر. Yes يا جوجو.
مس هو دلوقتي في جروب 7.
مم.
هو حضرتك قلتي ان الدنسيتي بتزيد ولا بتقل؟
The density all the time it increases down the group.
طب والميلتينج والبويلينج بوينت؟
melting point والboiling point في group 1 decreases وفي group 7 increases.
تمام.
Okay. ملوكة thank you so much sweetheart. You're most welcome يا ملوكة. my pleasure. شهد we don't go to school. better والله شهد. خليكي قاعدة في البيت. ذاكري بس. أهم حاجة تبقي يعني you're sitting at home and study. حد يطول. طيب. Okay. I'm going to save طبعا this record برضو
بس
I'm going to put it إن شاء الله on YouTube يعني within the coming days. على فكرة أنا I send on the group بعدها ب 4-5 days بس هو already بيكون على اليوتيوب بعدها maximum ب 2 days maximum يعني. ف you can check it. You are going to find it. أكيد if you are there on YouTube أكيد I think it show you إنه it's show إنه it is uploaded يعني. Okay. Okay. Yes يا علي. علي عمرو. اسمك كيوت قوي علي عمرو. يعني
جبال قلنا إنه
say
جروب
thank
1
you
give us
to the
alkali
parents. الالكالاي ايه؟
alkali solution جروب 1 مش
I didn't get it.
قلنا جروب 1 when react with water will give us alkali solution.
That's true.
طيب ال pH بتاع الالكالي solution will differ with يعني يعني ال pH بتغير من different element للتانية
No, all
ولا
of them,
كله
all of
بيكون
them,
نفس ال
they are going to be من after 7 till the 14. But usually they are going to be strong alkali. That's why it's going to give you من ال purple يعني dark blue كده أو purple color. بس أنت you don't need to study the pH range. You just know قصدي ال pH specific number. You just need to know إنه it's going to give you a strong alkali. You got my point? بس that's it. You don't need to يعني.
في ترند واضح ولا بس الرينج من 7 ل 14؟
after 7 is neutral. لا there is no trend. انت بس you will know انه it is a strong alkali بس that's it. مالوش لا.
خلاص تمام.
اوكي.
مس هو
yes.
النوبل جازز كلهم جازز يعني
الحته بتاعت النوبل جازز دي كلهم جازز. عارفه يا جوجو انا عايزه اخدها اعملها في التيك توك عشان احنا دلوقتي بقينا بنعمل تيك توك مع الستودنتس بتوعي حبايبي. فعايزين بصي عايزه ناخد البارت دي كده نحطها على التيك توك كده اللي هي هم النوبل جازز كلهم جازز. نشوف يعني تفتكري هيبقوا ايه يعني نوبل جازز هيبقوا ايه. هيبقوا ايه تفتكري؟ اكيد هم جازز يبقوا هيبقوا جازز صح؟ يعني اللوجيك.
طب هو
لوجيك
دلوقتي
بس
لو انا لي one common يعني في ما بين الترانزيشن ميتال وما بين النورمال ميتالز ممكن كمان اضيف the conduct electricity.
طبعا هم they have all the other properties same. يعني هم they are malleable و they are ductile و they conduct electricity و they are good conductor of heat و they are sonorous يعني they make sound. all the other properties it's the same. طبعا.
اوكي
that's true. يس يا علي.
بس ممكن الزنك مش الزنك هو
علي I can't hear you I'm so sorry.
مس هو ممكن يكون الزنك مس هو الزنك مش في ترانزيشن ميتال صح؟
I can't hear you ممكن يكون اللينك.
بس بيقول ان الزنك مش في الترانزيشن ميتالز، هل هو صح ولا غلط؟
بص هو الزنك بس هو من الترانزيشن ميتالز بس هو شويه اكسبشن. ليه بقى؟ لانه الزنك مش عنده هاي بويلينج بوينت لايك ذا نورمال وانز. لا هو عنده لو وذي فوق وعنده الاكسيديشن ستيت بتاعته بوزيتيف 2 اونلي. وكمان هو it form white compounds مش colored compounds. فذاتس واي هو شويه عنده that's why هو exception شويه عن عنده exceptional properties عن الباقي الترانزيشن ميتالز. بس that's it.
بس هو ممكن يعمل زي الكوبر والايرون اللي حضرتك كاتباهم دول.
بس بيقول ممكن يعمل زي الكوبر
No,
والايرون.
more than one oxidation state. لا هو الزنك positive 2 only. ما هو not all transition metals have more than one oxidation state. في transition metals they don't have more than one oxidation state. فهو الزنك من الحاجات اللي عندها oxidation state 2 only. اوكي.
مس هو الاكسيديشن ستيت مش بتعتمد على number of electrons بتاعت الاليمنتس صح؟
احنا بصوا يا جماعه احنا we're not going to go through امتى تبقى positive 2 امتى تبقى positive 3. this is not our point. انتوا تبقوا عارفين ان بالرومان letters لما تبقى 2 يبقى الاكسيديشن ستيت ب 2 لما تبقى 3 تبقى 3. it's related للالكترونز اللوست. بس احنا we're not going this is so specific. حتى في الاي اس we're not going to study this. okay just know it. بس ان في some elements ليهم more than one oxidation state بس هي it's related للالكترونز و it's related لمين الحاجه اللي هي عامله معاها بوند. اوكي. الترند في الكيميكال والفيزيكال يا ملوكة هي الترند مين مينلي في حاجات فيها فيزيكال في حاجات كيميكال. يس يعني مثلا الدنستي this is a trend in a physical property. الكيميكال how reactivity بتاعتها this is a chemical one.
بس ممكن يكون oxidation variable 3.
I can't hear you at all I don't know why.
بيقول ممكن الاوكسيديشن فاريبل يبقى 3.
C
3
3 الاوكسيديشن ستيت طبعا الومنيوم is 3. الايرون sometimes 2 sometimes 3. yes it could be.
هو احنا لازم نحفظ
you need to memorize. Yes. Next class إن شاء الله I'm going to show you some of them. You need to memorize them. إن شاء الله next class next Friday هديكم بقى زي الايرون والكوبر والزنك والنيكل. في some of them some of the transition metals yet we need to memorize.
هو في منهم لونه احمر.
بيقول في منه لونه احمر.
الايرون positive 3 لونه reddish brown. yes yes يا ملوك.
بس هو ممكن يعمل هاي ميلتنج وبويلنج بوينت وفي ممكن اوقات يعمل لو ميلتنج وهاي ميلتنج بوينت.
No, هي ترند. هو it's not like this. هو في ترند يعني as I go from up to down في جروب 7 ال boiling point وال melting point is increasing. ف it's a trend. هو مش كده يعني. مش random.
ده في جروب 1.
في جروب 1 as you go from up to down ال melting point وال boiling point is decreasing. Okay, I'm going to end now. Thank you so much. I'm going to see you inshallah next Friday. Study well. Have a great week. I'm gonna miss you. Bye bye.
Thank you so much for the session.
Bye, Miss.
Bye يا روحي. باي باي.
Bye.
Bye.